What are some of the features of the social character imbued in our culture? The first character trait, separation from self. I have said that acquired personality traits such as excessive identification with socially imposed duty, role, and responsibility at the expense of one's own needs can jeopardize health. This and other conditioned characteristics are the result of a child's developmental needs being denied, of nature being thwarted. Culture cements them through reinforcement and reward, encouraging people to perform tasks even if chronically stressful, under circumstances they might naturally want to avoid. My own workaholism as a physician earned me much respect, gratitude, remuneration, and status in the world, even as it undermined my mental health and my family's emotional balance. And why was I a workaholic? Because stemming from my early experiences, I needed to be needed, wanted, and admired as a substitute for love. I never consciously decided to be driven that way, and yet it worked all too well for me in the social and professional realms. Mechanisms for estranging people from themselves abound. They begin acting on us from the earliest moments of our existence, with stresses in the parenting environment and socially sanctioned child rearing practices and that negate the child's needs. The flight from self is powerfully compounded by overt trauma, of course, but even in the absence of personal wounding, it can be impelled by a conformist and competition centered educational system, by social expectations to fit in, the drive for peer acceptance, and a socially induced pervasive anxiety about one's status. In an image mad culture that sustains itself in large part of making people feel inadequate about themselves, or more insidiously capitalizing, pun half intended, on these pre existing feelings. The media holds out ideals of physical perfection against which young and old measure themselves and which lead people to be ashamed of their very bodies. My friend Peter Levin wrote in an article some years ago on the cosmetic procedure of injecting people with botulinum toxin. The substance relaxes muscles temporarily so as to remove the natural wrinkles from aging, but it also renders the face unnaturally less responsive. There are nursing mothers taking Botox, Peter told me. They are not able to communicate their emotions with their babies or even pick up the baby's emotions. They lose that kind of contact. In many other spheres, including social media, we too often present an artificial, Botoxed version of ourselves, an image not of who we are but of how we would like to be perceived by others. What we have with the internet is sort of a Botox for the masses, Peter said. We have just lost this capacity to be real, which is fundamentally what makes us human and what makes us feel connected to each other.